Unrelatable. That is probably the biggest answer that I can give to the common question that I get, which is, well, what's it like being a dating coach? Unrelatable to any experience that I can offer. If I was to relate it to something, it would be kind of like being it's kind of like being everyone's secret weapon. It's like, you know the strategies, what to give people, and you know how to make their life amazing, but it's not about you, it's about them. Because really at the end of the day, the results that we want as a dating coach is for you to have the life and love that you want, right? So in that sense, it's unrelatable because a lot of people are focused on themselves. But if you're a coach of sorts, you have to surrender quite a lot of yourself so that way you can make sure that the other person gets the results that they deserve, right? But a lot of the times what it comes down to is honestly, it comes down to a lot of understanding. So a lot of people have issues when it comes to beliefs or when it comes to just what they're doing in life and what they actually want, or just when it comes to like standards. So one of the biggest things is like communication. So often when I work with people on like a one-on-one basis, things like that, or in a workshop, it's like some of the skill sets that I'm giving people, if they don't get it straight away in 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, it's like a click and they're like, oh my God, I finally figured out what Harvey was talking about when he meant this and this and this, and it actually makes a huge change in their life. But this video is kind of a video that I really wanted to answer some of the common questions that I get as a dating coach, especially when I tell people that's what I do, and just to really kind of help you understand just what it's like inside my head, right? One of the biggest questions I get is, what is it like to be a dating coach? And it's one of those things where, honestly, it's quite unrelatable because I find that there's generally two kinds of people, right? One that I really can't relate to and don't relate to me, and that's fine. And the other that really connects with me at this amazing level, right? And if you're watching this, you're probably this other part, and you wouldn't really be if you weren't that. So the two kinds of people that I'm referring to, and at the end of this video, I'm going to give you a little bit of gifts just for, putting up with me all of this time as well. So stay tuned. There are two kinds of people. The first kind of person is someone who has a fixed mindset. So that's someone who really kind of is fixed in the way that they think, who they are as a person, their beliefs, often where they're going, what type of partner and relationship they deserve. And I often find is that person says, that's just me, which is a common phrase or a common thing that I hear a lot. The second kind of person is someone with a progress-based mindset. Now, this person might still say the words, that's just me, but what happens is someone who's a progress mindset, and if you're watching this and you're still watching this, that means you're a progress-based mindset person. But really, someone who has a progress-based mindset is someone who wants more out of life and knows that they deserve more out of life and knows that everything can change. Your body can change, your minds can change, your beliefs can change, your thoughts about something that can change. I often refer to this as incarnations, that we have various incarnations that we go through in life. And I can't remember who said this, I posted on my Instagram, but someone said, sometimes people change and we forget to tell each other. And we have these incarnations, right? And it's like knowing that maybe the incarnation that you're in now might not be your maximum potential, but you're going to explore that and progress that. And that's what I find the people who are my clients are the people who like get that the most. The people that I relate to the most are often the people who are that progress mindset. The people that I don't relate to are the people that are really fixed, that they believe that life is set, life is permanent. It's the people that often believe at an emotional level that they're immortal, when really in actual fact, if you look at it, like time is the greatest gift that we can give someone, especially if it's a partner, because time is the one thing that we have a limited quantity of that really means the most to us. So it's like often a lot of people act as if they're immortal when really the time that we have to spend on this earth is very little, and we have, like, I don't know how you think of it, but I think of life as an adventure. I think that, look, we've got this much time, so let's make the most of it. And that's why I work hard. And that's why often, like, it's one other thing that's unrelatable is that I do work hard. I get up often 4 a.m. most days, working solidly just on the business, and then I have a little bit of social things, like coaching as well. But at the end of the day, I often have a little bit of a social thing, just to keep my sanity. And to make sure, I'm a dating coach. I specialize in people, with confidence, things like that, and with social skills. So, like, I gotta be social, otherwise, like, really, one of my first mentors, what he told me was you got to build your career and the lifestyle you want to lead. So what I do is I am building my career around being anywhere in the world. Because in 2015, when I was doing the world tour, I got a taste of it. So right now, that's what I'm working on, is building up my company in a way that I'm not only like influential on a local level, but influential on a global level. And I am 6 months to a year of bringing it to a level where I can be anywhere. So I have people that want me to come visit them in, for example, New York, in Sweden, which is fun, and also, you know, various parts of London as well. So I'm just like, why not? Why not? And right now I'm at a point where I'm investing all the funds that I make back into the business, which then makes it hard for me because then a lot of people are like, hey, do you want to come do this amazing thing? I'm like, look, I'm saving people's lives. Yeah! But really, you know, I often have to pick between coaching someone, so really working out their problems, or doing something that is a bit more social. And I, as a coach, I have to optimize both. So I have to not only be the best coach to get results now, as I like to refer from months to moments, but also have the most insanely awesome social life and connect with people at a level that would take months, but is in moments. So I have to develop those social skills, which is, I think that's the best part of the job, is that a pressure that we put on ourselves. And like they say, no pressure, no diamonds. One of the other biggest questions I get is, are you in a relationship? Honestly, that question I have this amazing answer for, and I'm gonna give you that answer now. I'm not gonna tell you because I don't want people to judge their relationships off my relationship. I will tell people I work with exclusively on a one-on-one level, but that's because when I work with someone, you're alongside me. I'm not like, you know, doing these videos, things like that. You become like part of my inner circle. It's like the intimacy and the connection that we share, like that emotional connection as well, like that is, it's not like the kind of thing that you would just get from doing like a coaching program where someone is like, all right, you know, step 1, feel good. Step 2, do this. Step 3, do this. It's like, I'm giving you, it's like we're responsible for each other and for that openness, because if I want you to connect with someone else open, I have to be open myself, right? So I share that part of you. I share that part of me, but only if you're part of that. So really, because of the idea is I kind of want to be a blank state. I want to be, when I'm coaching someone, I want to be as unbiased as possible, because when I look at something, I look at the whole picture, right? And then I give people that little section. But most of the time, I just want to make sure that people develop what's important for them, that they create their relationship that suits them, and they create that lifestyle that suits them. So I don't want them to judge it off my lifestyle, because honestly, what works for me might not work for you, and what works for you probably definitely won't work for me, because I'm a very particular person. I have very high standards with everything that I do. So it's like, the other thing is what do ladies say when you're a dating coach? Honestly, that's one of the biggest things I think is very interesting, because often in the past, if I've gone on a date with someone, they're just like, so you're a dating coach, huh? Does that mean you're using me as an experiment? And I'm like, no, not really. Because honestly, like if I connect with someone, I don't want them to really think that I'm judging them or that I have these crazy expectations, because, you know, expectations kind of ruin relationships in the first place, or they kind of ruin that potential status. So at that first level, what I have done in the past is, well, I let them know that I'm a dating and relationship coach when it's more appropriate to. Because if that's that initial connection, then honestly, honest to God, the entire conversation turns to, what's it like being a dating and relationship coach? Are you in a relationship? That's very interesting. How'd you get into that? It's like I get the same questions every single time, right? So that's why I'm kind of making this video, to kind of express that. But I do it with due time. So I allow that person to connect with me first if I'm very interested in them. And that way they can actually see me for me and not my help ability, my ability to really solve people's problems, instead of being their guru, which I don't want to be anyone's guru. I want to be there with you, making sure that you become who you want to become and have the relationship that you want to have. But it's honest to God, it's just like, that's a thing that happens. So, and sometimes people know beforehand, sometimes people don't, and it's like, doesn't really matter. To be honest, it's just like down to the person. But the biggest thing is just making sure that they don't think that I'm just using them as an experiment. And the other big thing is also remembering that Well, you know, it's kind of about screening, right? And here's the biggest thing, it's often about integration, so you can integrate various parts of your personality. So in the past you might have been like this, now you might be like that. For example, years ago I used to be, I would describe it just as a ratbag graphic designer. Just going out, meeting girls, just going out like crazy, right? And now I'm really more refined. Look, I bought my first Polo shirt. Look at this. Does it look good? You know, that bit more refined kind of nature that I have with everything that I do, I get to integrate that. I get to integrate the rat bag and the refined to really develop my personality, which I think is an amazing thing, actually. Another really big question that I get is, what experience do you have? Results. That's what I have. I've toured the world, I've coached hundreds of people on a global scale. I think it's absolutely amazing the amount of change that I've had with people and the amount of stories that I have. You know, and I find people often have, if they come to a workshop or they talk to me once, they often come back to me almost like months later where they're like, oh my God, you were right, all right. I become their problem solver, which is kind of fun, not just in dating, but in other parts of life, which I think is really cool. But really, results. Because I speak in results. I just thought about calling my my coaching results coaching, but that name's kind of taken. When I speak in results, I just let the results speak for themselves. And it's like, I wouldn't be me if I didn't speak in results, and I wouldn't, you know, I don't really care about getting a piece of paper, because honestly, you know what I studied, actually? Do you know what I studied? In university, I studied games design. Now, games design is not something that you should actually study. Games design is something that if you want to be a games designer, so I'm not saying programmer, really I'd recommend, unless actually I've got a client, she's a games designer in Sweden, her course was absolutely amazing, but really you should be making games. I remember actually the head of games used to say stuff like, "You're just a monetary value to the university. You're not really ever going to be a games designer. You're just money for us." And that kind of really disheartened me as just a budding young person. How did I get into it is the last question I'd like to express. Back in the day when I was studying games design, I met a girl who I thought was the love of my life. And if you're watching this, hi. But if you are watching this, it's like we were together for a point, but I made it so much more than what it was. And it was that I was trying to fit her into, like, she was like a round peg into like a triangle. And we had an amazing relationship, but when it came down to me forcing it in there, that's when we had some resistance, right? So then I went on a massive rampage of just meeting women, because what I wanted to do was I wanted to learn about roadmaps. Like, I had been raised to have a particular roadmap. Like, you know, we've got have kids and have another kid, then do this, do that, you know? And honestly, that was what ruined my relationship, was my expectations of how it should go. So I went out to figure out as many other kind of expectations that exist. What happened was that I met a whole bunch of dating coaches. I never went to them for help, but I became one of them. And in Melbourne, where I was, I became quite well known. And then through some stroke of luck, I went overseas, and I worked for another company, and went on a world tour coaching men about confidence skills, which honestly at the time, so after games design, I became a graphic designer. I became very self-taught, very good, very quickly, surprisingly. I had like some interns working for me, I had a little company, but I absolutely hated it. It made me extremely depressed, and the only thing that gave me joy was meeting people, interacting with people, and coaching people. So I went on this world tour and I was as happy as I could be, but I still wasn't that happy, because ultimately I went to a meditation retreat and I realized all I wanted to do, like the best way to say it is like all I wanted to do was just help people connect. And I wanted to learn how to connect better with people. It's literally what it came down to, was like that little thing. And I can remember talking to my old boss and he was like, we gotta get more specific. And I'm like, nah, like that's it in a nutshell. Like, I wanna connect and I wanna help other people connect. Like, I don't really know anything more than that. And I came back to Australia and I resisted it and I resisted it and I resisted it and I resisted it. But an old mentor who helped me start my graphic design business, she was recently single and she was like, oh, can you please help me? The thing was, it was actually really cool because I was helping her with her relationships, and it was in a non-traditional sense. So it wasn't that, because a lot of people think that what they want is have a boyfriend, have a house, you know, get a dog, like get that really traditional, I would say normal relationship. And I support all kinds. But in this particular case, it was really amazing because she wasn't necessarily going for something traditional, and she had that, what is it called? It's cognitive dissonance, where we have these two things in us and they like fight, and you're like, I should do what's normal, but I don't want to do what's normal. So what do I do? So I ultimately really helped her out, and she became like, this is what you need to do. And I was like, I think you're right. So then I started getting hooked, and it's actually taken off, and I'm really excited for the amount of people that I get to work with constantly, every day, more and more. Thank you so much. And honestly, like I mentioned this before in the start of the video, I want to give you a little gift for watching me this entire time, and also watching me up until now, because I think it's roughly around this many minutes that this video has been going for. So what I want to give to you is a little audiobook that I have at this point in time, haven't released except for you and a few other select people that I've given it to. And it is the 3 Mistakes of Dating audiobook, an honest guide to modern dating, which is actually incredibly honest when we talk about who we are, what's happening, where we want to go. Often a lot of people, we get into the wrong relationships in the first place. And yeah, dating, relationships, modern love. Make sure to subscribe by clicking on the little button down below, and see you in the next video.